For many educators, the problem of gun violence in schools has never been more personal. But after a 3-month CREM 2 investigation, I discovered many of the same teachers who are fighting to restrict guns like the AR-15. Well, they're actually invested in the same companies that make those weapons, and it's through their state-run retirement plan. We're talking well over $1 million in shares from gun and ammunition manufacturers. And it turns out many of the teachers I talked to had absolutely no idea.
School safety is just fundamental. We know we're supposed to be going to school for our kids to be learning and thriving, and none of us can do that if we're not safe at school.
I never would have thought that this is where we would be.
So here's how it all breaks down. When a teacher gets hired, they have to make a choice, Plan 2 or Plan 3. Now, Plan 2 has shares in thousands of companies, and employees are not given a choice when it comes to which companies their money is invested in. Plan 3 offers teachers 7 different plan choices, 5 of them specifically not invested in any gun or ammunition manufacturer. But when I started questioning the Washington State Investment Board, I learned the vast majority of Washington's teachers are enrolled in Plan 2, a full 59%. And under Plan 2, they have thousands and thousands of shares in gun companies. Now, I was told it is not the result of active or targeted investment in those companies, but is a byproduct of owning shares in all-inclusive index funds. But intentional or not, it all adds up to $3.7 million worth of shares in Olin Corp. They're the ones that make Winchester ammunition, among other things. $1.6 million in shares of companies like Savage Arms, Sturm Ruger, and American Outdoor Brands. All 3 of those companies make various models of modern sporting rifles, like this one, the M&P 15 by Smith & Wesson. It's the same one police say the Parkland, Florida school shooter used on Valentine's Day to kill 14 of his classmates and 3 teachers. It's also the same gun that was used in the Aurora, Colorado movie theater shooting in 2012. Similar semi-automatic rifles were also used at the Sandy Hook school shooting in Connecticut and the Clackamas Town Center mall shooting in Oregon. And it's the same one many students and teachers all across the country are fighting to keep out of the hands of the next potential shooter.
Would it surprise you to know that you, as a Washington teacher, have $1.5 million invested in companies that make guns like the AR-15?
Yeah, that would surprise me. Is that my union dues paying for that?
It's your investment money.
It's my state investment money?
Your pension plan.
My pension plan. Well, who's deciding that?
So, if in fact that is true, then
it is.
I believe that a lot of educators will be up in arms over that. I believe that someone has felt that investment would expand the portfolio, and if we are not necessarily in control of that, then we need to figure out how to get control of that.
So it bothers you?
Absolutely. It bothers me immensely.
I don't like it, but I don't have any control over that. I don't remember having a choice. I don't remember choosing a box.
So these gun companies that make these semi-automatic AR-15 style rifles, are those the types of companies that you would normally financially support?
No, not at all.
Do you think that you will go home now and try to figure out which plan you're in?
I was just thinking about that when you said that. I said, man, I need to find out which one of those I'm invested in, because I'm not supporting that.
Now, I did talk with the president of the Spokane Education Association, Katie Henry. She didn't want to go on camera with me, but told me she had no idea the state had that much money invested in gun manufacturers. And she reiterated that teachers under Plan 2 have no say in the matter. I also reached out to Spokane Public Schools as the largest school district in eastern Washington. In a statement, the district said, "We acknowledge that the 750,000 employees who make up this Washington workforce have a variety of retirement investment options that may include holdings in companies they're not aware of. As with all investment products, we urge employees to understand their options and choose those that align with their values and long-term goals." Now, I do quickly want to point out that once a teacher does select either Plan 2 or Plan 3, they're not allowed to change their mind. So a lot of teachers may be surprised by this information and they're not able to do much about it.
So we heard from a couple of teachers who are not happy about this, but I imagine there's other teachers who say, look, these guns are illegal, ammunition is legal. I just want my pension plan to do well. I don't necessarily care what stocks it's invested in.
Sure, and there are a lot of people who feel that way. And here's the thing. If there's one topic in the world, it's gun control that will get people to polarize, right? And so a lot of people that I talk to had very strong opinions and just didn't want to be a part of the story because they were afraid of the backlash. And so we did talk to almost every single person that I talked to, including those women, were all gun owners, and they fully support the right to own a gun. They just have some fears. As a teacher, they're worried about their place when it comes to school violence. So it was very interesting to talk with them because they're not anti-gun at all, and this wasn't intended to be an anti-gun message at all. It was simply about that particular gun and the pensions.
Interesting. Well, I mean, there's all those kind of different funds that are just made up of, I mean, I don't know. I could be I don't know.
Right.
Because I don't look at
I don't look at the
each
specifics of
company.
my 401k plan. I know specifically what I'm invested in.
And frankly, a lot of people, of course, they want their pension plan to do well.
Yeah.
And when they made that choice, Plan 2 or Plan 3, 15, 20 years ago, as so many teachers did, it wasn't even on anyone's radar, which was another interesting thing. And I also quickly wanted to tell people that that $1.6 million figure that we heard about is a very small fraction when it comes to the entire portfolio, obviously, which is millions and millions of dollars. But there are lots of states that do have similar plans. So you multiply that 1.6 or so times 30, 40, 50 states, it certainly adds up to a lot of money for the gun companies.
Wow, interesting. Whitney, thank you very much.